Her son's best friend.
This is what I'm saying, check it. See what we're doing now, yeah?
Yes, this is a car eating nuggets under the light of the BP carriage.
Exactly. This all right now, this all right here is sweet. Me and you.
The vote was to leave on balance. In other parts of the UK, the vote has clearly been that they wish to stay. But the result of a referendum is the summary of all those opinions. And you know, therefore the majority is what democratically has to happen going forward. Now, I've listened to some of the other arguments whilst I've been waiting to speak tonight, and you know, the options that appear to be laid out before us, I can't agree with all of those options, to be quite frank. One of the things I would like to point out is that if we take no deal off the table, the greatest bargaining chip for us to attain any kind of deal vaporises in that instant. And the EU, who are masters at playing this game, when others have wished to leave or to disaver to what the European Union wanted to do, they cunningly force further referenda to happen until the right answer is chosen. And I don't think we should be in this situation. We had the meaningful vote in 2016. No other meaningful vote ought to be necessary now, except to choose, perhaps, is it leave with a deal or leave without a deal?
Well, but Mark, I can't let you just do a monologue. I have to talk to you as well. That is a.
No, it's fine. I have a few other points that I wish to put forward, though.
I'm sure, but we're only on till 1.
Yeah, it's all right. Well, I need to be home by midnight, otherwise I do turn into a werewolf.
Perfect. Well, look, let me. What you just described, that is effectively happening, isn't it? I mean, that you said it should be leave with a deal or leave without a deal. Well, that was on the table today, got rejected again, the deal. Right, and then leave without a deal. Leave without a deal. You don't listen at all, do you? Only speak. Is that what you do?
Can I ask who rejected leave that today? It's not the public. It is Parliament, the majority of whom wish to remain associated with the EU. They are not honouring the vote that was made in the referendum in 2016, and I'll give you a clear indication of the issue I have with that. Yvette Cooper is from an area and represents an area that strongly voted to leave the EU. And she is still trying to tinker with things to make sure that we remain.
So tell me the best outcome for you. What's the best outcome for you now?
To leave with a deal.
And how is that going to happen?
Well, it isn't, is it? That's the point. It isn't going to happen.
Okay, no further questions. Thank you, Mark. That's Mark on his way home from City's game. Let's get to Craig in a moment after we've heard from William in Belfast. Hi, William.
Hello, Phil.
What are you thinking?
Well, just sort of agree with your last caller, but I want to come at it from a slightly different angle. Over here in Belfast, we get a lot of talk from certainly Liberal, Labour, who want to stop Brexit, change the vote. So what I'm thinking is, in a few years' time, we'll probably have a border poll here. How can we be sure that they'll implement the majority vote if we vote by a small majority to remain part of the United Kingdom? If they've set a precedent that they overturn a democratic vote, how do we be sure we can stay unionist and loyalist people can remain part of the union? Do we have to rearm? Do we go back to war? Because that's the way they'll push this country. They haven't thought it through.
So you're talking about if the UK doesn't leave at all, aren't you?
Yes, if they don't implement the majority, the will of the people.
Yeah.
How can we trust them?
But you know, William, the default position at the moment is that we will leave on March the 29th.
Well, they're going to try and stop it. Let's see. But if they do overturn it, Vince Cable and Liberal and some Labour are always going on about the hard border, Good Friday Agreement. They haven't thought it through. If they lose trust, if we can't trust the people who we elect, when they give us a border poll, they're going to push this country into serious trouble.
Well, we heard earlier from a journalist, from Amanda, who's based in Belfast, who says, you probably know better than me, William, that tomorrow a Northern Ireland border no-deal plan is going to be published, isn't it?
Well, we'll wait and see, but I'm really just talking about the trust in the politicians. If they try to overturn the will of the people, how can we trust them not to overturn the will of the people in any future border poll? It's all about trust. They must implement the election result.
Thank you, William. Thank you. Craig's in Glasgow. Hi, Craig.
Good evening, Phil. How are you?
Yeah, I'm okay. What about you?
I think that I just want to be clear. The kid on, not the one from Belfast, the one before that, spoke about it wasn't the people who rejected it, it was MPs. Well, any consensus I've ever heard of suggested that the people would so reject Theresa May's deal. In all fairness, so I think straight off the bat, our deal wouldn't get through the polls with the people either. But I think my problem is that we have had the same person leading this Brexit negotiations now for nearly 3 years, and 2.5 years, sorry. And clearly, it isn't working. Clearly, she cannot get a deal together to get through. And I think the best way forward is to let somebody else do the negotiating. If you were in a business and you sent someone out to negotiate a business deal, and twice they came back and twice overwhelmingly that business deal was voted down, then they wouldn't be going back out a third time to renegotiate that business deal. Why should it be any different for Theresa May?